Hey everybody, hold on, I got a co-host, April. I thought I did that. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. Start off, going to show you like a very brief demo, quick tour of sort of what our software looks like, what it does, give you kind of just the high level on it. Afterwards, it'll come back to me. I will do a short rant, and then it is into your Q&A, which is my favorite part of the entire thing. So you have questions about what we do, about something you've seen on the podcast, or the Art Business Morning Show, or something you're struggling with in your business. Here to help, love to help. Literally talk to hundreds of artists and photographers week in, week out. Pattern recognition is real. I've heard and seen it all. I think I've answered directly artist and photographer questions this week, over 375 in Q&A action like this. Been doing that since March, so pretty confident that I can help get you unstuck, but we'll get into that in due time. Let's start with the presentation, and then I'll see you guys on the other side. All right.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear, or it could be something more practical like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're going to find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're going to hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it. Raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes. And that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're going to send this to you after today's session ends. We're going to email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right? So if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are two halves to art storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work. You get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts. You save up for it. Eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color? How's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions. Your website does not answer them and they never get it answered. They leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go. Got the help for you right here. Problem solved. Keep going. Keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, giclée print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we've selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need, right? So let's step it up, the 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real, actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more, but that is the engine. The Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks, 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit by bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home. And our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Thanks, Taylor. Okay, let me get into my quick rant and then we can get into your questions. I see some of you guys have your hands up already. Awesome. I'll answer those. You can throw questions in the chat. If you want to be on video, we would love to have you on video. If you don't like video, I totally get that. I hate video. You don't have to turn on your video. So I understand all of that. Big picture, yes, website, yes, marketing. We have the lofty goal of solving the starving artist problem. That's sort of our raison d'etre, right? Like the reason we exist. Underpinning that, we've sort of arrived at through testing, iteration, and over the years, we're attempting to put our customers on the path to a six-figure-a-year art business. Now, is that a lofty goal? Yes. Some of you guys are going to hear 6 figures a year, and you're like, I haven't even sold a piece yet. So obviously, that's a huge jump. The goal is somewhat aspirational. What percentage of our customers are already above that six-figure rate? Not a lot. But a pretty decent percentage, and some are headed even north of that. And so, you know, the path towards that six-figure-a-year business is sort of the same path if you're trying to get 0 to 10,000, 10,000 to 50,000, 50,000 to 100,000. So it's nice to have an aspirational goal. We kind of like the shoot for the stars, aim for the stars, land in the clouds, concept on it, and underpinning a six-figure-a-year plus art business, we kind of break it down into 5 pillars. And the first pillar is what we call unclog the drain. Before we can even get into the other thoughts, unclog the drain. And, I think I mentioned at the top of this, for those of you guys that were on, I've talked to literally thousands and thousands of artists and photographers. We started doing these Zoom sessions like this and talking to you guys, and then also started doing Zoom sessions like this just ahead of COVID with all of our customers. And you have all those conversations where you talk to that many artists, that many photographers, it sort of blows you away. And it's where we arrived at this like concept of unclog the drain. Because the drain, like, let's say we have good stuff that needs to go down the drain. Almost all the time, everyone I talk to has some sort of nonsense stuck in the drain that is preventing them from taking any forward progress in their art or photography career. Things like, I'll just get started once I know what my niche is, or when I narrow down my niche, or I couldn't possibly sell my art online because if I did, because art doesn't sell online, or I couldn't possibly sell my art online because my pieces are too big, they're too weird, they're too hard to ship, or art doesn't sell online, period. I mentioned that one already. Or there's some sort of mythological list out there of high net worth individuals that if I just get a hold of that, I'll do great, right? Or maybe you're hung up on shipping, or maybe you're hung up on technical aspects, or maybe you think there actually does exist a website where you can upload your work, not do anything else except just create and really just sell like crazy, which doesn't exist. So that's the first pillar. What we'll find is a large portion of this call will be the Q&A will be unclogging the drain and getting into those things. And you see them time and time again, and it's super helpful to hear. One thing I usually forget is that artists and photographers are usually perfectionists. I'll just get launched. I'll just get started. I'll just get going once my website is absolutely perfect. Little secret, no one's website's ever perfect. Not the way it works. artists and photographers are famously massive procrastinators, right? And you fast forward whatever's stuck in the drain. You fast forward 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and you say, what's changed this year in the business? Very little done on the marketing, very positive steps taken forward. And so it's always just stuff that's in the drain. So we'll get into that. The second pillar, okay, is what we call understand the business model. We believe that you don't have to get a whole lot right as an artist or a photographer in today's day and age, as long as you don't get a whole lot wrong. The number one thing that people get wrong is not understanding the business model. We like to call it DTC, direct to consumer, or die, okay? We believe the art and photography industry is going through its own disruption. Read Netflix and Blockbuster, read Uber and the taxi cab companies. You need to be selling directly to your consumer, okay? You need to be selling directly to consumer as the primary sales channel that you have. Galleries take 50%. They don't let you keep your contacts. You cannot email or market to your buyers in perpetuity. The online galleries, Etsy, Redbubble, Fine Art America, Saatchi, do not let you keep your customer data. You cannot market to those people in perpetuity. They control all the rules. So you need to be selling direct to the consumer. Once you figure that out, once you realize that, and you're working on that primarily, you're on the right path. That's number two. Number three, the secret to effective marketing. Worked my whole career in digital marketing and offline marketing as well, or retail marketing as well, to figure this out. There is no secret. There's never been a secret. There never will be a secret. It's two things. One, focusing on the high ROI marketing activities, and ROI defined return on investment. Your time, your treasure, your hours. And yes, Benjamin, you can record it. That's fine. I was just answering a question in the chat. Nobody does this, right? Nobody does this. And first of all, how do I know what the high ROI marketing activities are? One, I'm really good at marketing. I've been doing this a long time. Two, I have the benefit of 4,300 plus customers on the Art Storefronts platform, and I get to see their data. I look at their analytics, the ones that are doing really well. I study what they're doing, and I get a look at that big picture. I can tell you things like conclusively, I don't have a single solitary artist in that entire bunch that's making Pinterest pay. Pinterest is great for pins. It's great for feeling good. I'm sure somebody's cracked it, but I haven't seen a single solitary person crack it. So what is my advice based on that data? Do not waste your time on Pinterest, right? And there's a number of different insights that I have as a result of having this huge customer database and talking to as many artists and photographers as I do. So we keep you focused on the high ROI marketing activities. And this is just as important, the focus, as it is keeping you ignoring all the nonsense that doesn't work, right? Like SEO, it's not going to work. It's not going to get great results. I know this already, except fringe cases. So it's as important keeping you focused as it is ignoring the other things. The second secret, doing it consistently. No one ever does it consistently. Everyone just gets like all fired up. I'm going to grow my business this year. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great. You work on it for like 2 months, and then what happens? You quit because you didn't get the results that you liked, and you don't do anything, and the business doesn't move forward. So that's a big part of it. The fourth pillar is the inputs. This is sort of a two-pronged pillar. One, you're the average, the 5 people you spend your time around, okay? So that's a situation in which, for whatever reason, artists and photographers get these like advice from people that have never sold art, never sold photography, tell them all these things, the nonsense, and it ends up just getting you to not take any like forward steps. Like the sort of take it out of the art world version is like, stop watching cable news, stop reading a newspaper, stop listening to the radio, and do that for 2 weeks. See how much better you feel about yourself, about your neighbors, about your life, about your country, right? Like, you know, when you're just constantly getting bombarded with the negativity and the nonsense, it's just crippling. And I see that time and time again. And maybe some of that will come up on this call where somebody will tell me something, and I immediately go, who told you that? Where did you get that from? Does that person ever sold a piece of art in their entire life? And the answer is usually no. So you have to monitor the inputs. It's really important. And the fifth one is just perspective. Steve Jobs famously said, it takes 3 to 5 years to build anything of value in today's day and age. And he's correct. Everybody thinks that it comes easy. Everybody thinks that you don't have to do that much work, and year one, you're going to kill it and knock it out of the park. It takes time. It just takes time. So you have to have the perspective piece sorted on how long it's going to take you to get to this 6-figure a year business, if that's our lofty goal. So those are the 5 pillars, the 5 things that underpin sort of the path, and that's the path that we're trying to put all of our customers on. You know, if you follow some of what we do, it's what we always talk about on the podcast or in the Art Business Morning Show or a lot of the lives that we do. So that's sort of the goal. That's sort of where we're headed. That's sort of what we're after. So, going to open it up to Q&A. You guys can use the chat if you want to use the chat. You can raise your hand, and we'll get into those questions. And for those that are following on the live broadcast, I'll be happy to answer some of those too. So we're going to start today with Wesley. Wesley, you're up first, and you might need to unmute there, Wesley. I'll tell you when you got it. Are you there, Wesley? Yep, gotcha.
I'm sorry, I thought you said Leslie.
Oh, no, Wesley. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm here. Patrick, thank you so much for hosting these. I refer to them now as my weekly dose of Drano, because I do now embrace the, I guess it's a metaphor
It is.
that you use, what's been holding me back so far, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And before, I have two questions today. I'm sure you're uniquely qualified to answer.
I will do my
Before
best.
I do that, I wanted to share something. I want to share a compliment. And this is why I keep coming back, because I have yet to hear anything from you guys is BS. And everything you've said so far, from my perspective at least, has panned out. And do you care if I badmouth one of your competitors?
No, I mean, no, I'm not above that, but I do appreciate the BS thing, right? Because I pride myself in and this is important, and I think all of us, like, self-deprecating is not a problem for me. If I get it wrong, I'm happy to say the first one that, like, I got this one wrong, but also just being really open. Like, we don't have it all figured out, right? But we're working really hard on figuring it out, and we like to be really, really transparent with doing so.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Your honesty is refreshing, it really is. But so, yeah, one of your competitors talked me into using their mail client to do my first mail campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Big grand opening of my online art store. I sell vintage fine art. It's a gallery. I'm not an artist, but I'm reselling, I hate to say it, dead artist paintings and
Mm-hmm.
such.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, it's integrated with Shopify. My store is on Shopify, so it should be a killer tool. Well,
Mm-hmm.
no, not so much. What do you think of a mail client that says you delivered 0 email messages, but somehow you had 50 people open those email messages, right? I mean, you can't have, if you haven't delivered anything, nobody's opening anything. So I very quickly realized that the Shopify email client was a piece of, well, I shouldn't say crap.
Yeah, I mean, that's just tech issues. Those things will crop
And
up.
I immediately switched to MailChimp, and I've since run a campaign on MailChimp, a mail campaign on MailChimp, and it does everything. I mean, it's like night and day different. It reports a much deeper pool of the information that's useful. And I heard in one of your last discussions, I can't remember what context it was, that you guys, that's the mail client you embrace is MailChimp, and in your solution stack, you're integrated with MailChimp. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's from my perspective, that's clearly the best choice. And if there's anybody out there running a Shopify store, be careful with their mail client. You might either join Patrick in using MailChimp on their platform, or you can integrate it on other platforms. But here's the two questions, Patrick. I now recognize the importance of not losing the opportunity to capture every potential person that shows any sign of interest whatsoever.
Very important, yes.
With your information, and every single visit, every single session should be prized. And I'm always looking for the sale, right? Well, wait a minute, that's not the starting point. I got to capture these people and try to then be able to obviously remarket to them. And so I have implemented the thing that I think you've advised, and I can't remember what the context was, where if it looks like the user's about ready to exit, they're doing something, they come,
Yep.
a pop-up shows and tries to get their email message, right? So my question to you is, and you must have the data that could answer this, what is the absolute best lure, I'll call it, to get somebody like that who's browsing a site for fine art to actually give up their email?
Yeah,
I think there's a
there's
lot.
no
What
one
is
size.
the absolute best one?
There's no one size fits all, sadly, and anyone that's telling you that is a liar. Everyone's visitors are a little bit different. Step one, ask, right? Get an exit pop and ask, and then get some data, and you can switch it up, right? You can offer an exit, you can offer a coupon code if you like, or you can be cheeky and say, whoa, before you're heading to the exits, I share my best stuff on the email list, or you could have some sort of a resource, a free download. It's really just different situationally for everyone. But you're overthinking it, Wesley. Just turn an exit pop on and see how it goes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I was trying the angle that, since I'm selling vintage art, you want to be the first one to know the next time I add a new painting.
Yep. It's a good angle. It's a good angle. Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. So maybe I'll try the free. I was thinking free shipping or up to a certain amount for shipping or just a discount. No, obviously I'm on board with you.
Yep. You could do the discount too.
You've been very focused on dispelling this myth that we shouldn't be discounting
Yep.
the items in our gallery. So I may try that angle. Okay. Second question, real quick, Dan, because I don't want to take up everybody else's time, but I think this might be relevant to some other newbies like me. I love this idea of doing these live broadcasts.
Yeah, they're a big deal.
I don't know if I'll be any good at them, to be honest with you. It's probably going to take some time to be as polished as you and.
No one has them all figured out. No one has them all figured out. Your issue, Wesley, don't think about it. Don't talk about it. You have one of these. You could press the button on it, and you can talk.
Everyone I've ever seen you on, you guys are like excited. You're really into it, and I got to believe it works. I mean, so I'm really interested in that. But here's my question: I'm a newbie. I don't have a very deep email list yet. I have even a thinner following on Facebook and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So how many, potential customers should I have in I'll call my inventory of potential customers, where I think before it's worthwhile to try to then draw them into a live session? Because I got to have that in place first, right? Before anybody's going to know what I'm doing.
And I'll answer this, and I'll send you a resource too, or I'll have April send the resource. And April, you just find we did an art business mornings on the live art show period, and some of you guys, maybe this is your first interaction, and for some of you, maybe you've been watching for a while. I fundamentally believe that live video broadcast is going to forever change, not just the art and photography markets, but just about every market. There's already really, really strong data that's out of China. It's one of these things where China's ahead of us on this, but selling art or photography directly via live video, where you talk about it, where you hold it up, where you merchandise it, is one of the most powerful things I've ever seen, period. It is completely changing the game for all of our customers. It's completely changing the game for us. It's Art Storefronts as a business. Since the pandemic hit, and probably a little bit before, I saw the writing on the wall with live video and how powerful it is to reach artists and photographers. And since then, I've been doing 5 to 6, sometimes 7 days a week, 2 days a week on every single solitary social platform, figuring out all the ins and outs of it. And I've never seen anything like it. So, Wesley, I want you to listen to that episode that I have that'll talk about all the things, how to get started, what to do, how to think about it, how to not stress in the beginning, and how to just start shipping them, because ultimately that's what you have to do. You got to just get moving right away. It is the single solitary greatest opportunity I've ever seen come along in digital marketing. That's number one. Number two, we marketers ruin absolutely everything, and the arbitrage is going to go away in short order by the time everyone else figures this out. The abstraction of it is, what's the best way to sell art? In person, face to face. Everyone knows that. No one's disputing that. But we have to have a website. Why? Because it turns out we're all geographically fixed on this planet, and it turns out you need sleep. So you need a website, open 24 hours a day, can sell concurrently to multiple people and everything else. But live video, okay, by which I mean broadcasting directly on the socials or one-to-one. Have a collector, have a buyer that's potentially interested, wants to have a video chat, you do it. It's sort of the step in between the two. right? It's a step in between the two. And I'll go even further to say, it is you opening up the retail location in your business, which you did not have on Main Street, USA of the internet. Okay. The more you have it open, the more people are going to be coming in. They're going to be getting to know you. They're going to interact with your art. They're going to learn about your quirkiness. They're going to see you merchandising, and you'll just end up winning. So I'm so bearish on it. After we get through a couple more questions, and if there's time, I'm going to show you some screenshots that'll absolutely blow your mind. So next up on the questions is Kyle, Dawn, and then Otis. And if anyone else has them, you can raise your hand. So you're up next, Kyle. You're on mute. Yep, gotcha. Well, I can see your mic's unmuted, Kyle, but I can't hear anything. I'm wondering if you have the right microphone. Sometimes people have two mics, and there's a little up arrow in the bottom left-hand corner. There's the mic. You unmuted, so you got that. There's this little like up arrow, and it says select a microphone. You might need to select the correct one. But I'll let you fidget with that, and I'll come back, okay? Kyle, I'll come back to you next. All right, Dawn, you're up. Dawn Fast.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Thank you. So first of all, I haven't even signed up yet with you guys, and I'm out there selling to every artist I bump into. I'm saying, dude, you got to get with ASF. So anyway, that's exciting.
I appreciate that.
Can you put that, if you don't mind, will you put that link on the chat that you're going to send to Wesley so we can?
Yeah, I sure will, and I'll just share it with you. And like, look, you know, my massive ego aside, I've been at this, you know, this whole art marketing thing for like 7 years now. Not ever in all of those 7 years have I gotten more positive feedback off of one series of content than this Art Business Morning Show. Straight up. And it's this here. So this is our YouTube page. So if you just go to Art Storefronts, you can just hit the playlist. You can play all. You can subscribe to get notified when we do the new ones, which is, no, it's not going to show on my end. But the flash sale ones, mandatory. When I say mandatory, I mean mandatory. You all have to listen to this. It is really, really good. The flash sales one, and then the other one is live art shows, the future of selling art. So the live art shows will put the concept in your mind, and then the flash sales will give you kind of an iteration on it. I would listen to all of them. I think they're really good. Again, there's my giant ego. But no joke, in my entire career of doing this for Art Storefronts, lots of blog posts, a podcast for years, never received the feedback I've ever on is those things. So highly recommend you listen to those. April, maybe just throw a link to the YouTube page right into the chat. Okay, good. She's throwing the videos in there too, but I would just subscribe. It's the easiest way. But again, I'm always trying to build followers too, right? You always got to be marketing.
You're right. Exactly. That's you.
Yeah.
That's who you are. The next question is about, I have two major things that I want to mark. I mean, two parts of art. I'm a fine artist and also a commercial artist and sign painter, murals, all that.
Okay.
So is that, can I put them both on and push them?
Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. You know, like in today's day and age, like what no one understands, and everyone gets hung up on this, and this is actually a typical drain question, because you're like, I want to do this and I want to do this, but I can't decide which one I want to do. And then what do you end up doing? You don't do either of them, or not enough, right? At the end of the day, you're the brand as much as, is it Dawn the fine artist or Dawn the sign guy? No, it's Dawn. It's Dawn Fast, right? So that's number one. Number two, you don't know what you don't know. And I don't know either, and no one else can tell you. Only the market can tell you. So the sooner you get both of those things up on a website, the sooner you start selling both of those things, the sooner you start marketing both of those things, the market is going to start telling you which one it likes better. At that point in time, then you have a decision to make. Do I want to be, you know, all the traffic's coming into my fine art? Do I want to just focus on that or not? Or don't. Focus on both. You're the brand. This is what you do. This is part of the total package, right? So yeah, don't overthink it. Throw both of them on the website and get going.
Yeah, that's what you've been saying. Don't overthink it. Just get it out there. So thank you.
Yeah.
Last question. The people, I'm serious enough. I want to go for the 6-figure income. And I know what Steve Jobs said. It could take, 2 to 5 years, whatever. So I'm happy with that. Is there any kind of a rough average of time that the people who are successful are spent per day doing the marketing? Is there any rough idea of time?
It's a good question, and as human beings, our minds like naturally go to that question. But really, what it comes down to is you can't compare your beginning to someone's middle to someone's end, right? Okay. That's number one. Number two, there's the tendency to try to extract. It comes at me how many hours a week on marketing. It comes at me what are the best selling sizes. It comes at me what is the ideal price point, right? And all of those questions are filled with folly. The important thing when it comes down to the marketing is exactly what I said in terms of the pillars. If you've got 2 hours a week to give to it, the most important thing I can tell you is that you're focused on the high ROI stuff, and those 2 hours, I'm going to get those 2 hours 52 weeks a year for the next 3 to 5 years. If I do that, we're going to win. If you've got 10 hours, I'll take the 10, right? But the consistency is the key, and the consistency is where everybody misses. Yeah.
Perfect. That's all I had. Thank you so much.
Great.
What's the thing in the grandstands in the background? What's that?
That's Chelsea. It's a soccer team in the UK.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, sir.
And the greatest American to ever play the game plays on the team, which is why I love it. But I got a mix of backgrounds up too, so that was the one for today. Okay, Kyle, I think you got it sorted. I'm circling back.
You got me?
Yep, I saw you bring in the IT support department, and I was like, oh, she's on it. Yeah, good work. I saw it. I caught it.
My husband's a sound guy, so it helps.
Yeah.
Okay, so hi, thanks for having me. I just this is the second one of these I've attended, and I'm gleaning a lot of great information, and it's a perfect bounce back from the last question. So I have just left an 8-year career with Fox Sports as a creative director.
Okay,
during
amazing.
which time I did art on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I've done art my entire life. I've sold illustrations. I've sold paintings. My issue isn't that. It's that now I'm finally had this opening in my life to really let myself be the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm bumping up against currently is that since leaving that job, all I've thought about is what we're talking about here today. But all I've been doing is working. I've got more work now than I had when I had a full-time job, doing design, doing illustration. I'm doing a children's book. It's not that I procrastinate or don't want to spend the time. I'm actually kind of an overworker sometimes. Yeah. And I say yes to everything right now, because it's money and creativity. So I suppose I want to ask you, I'm willing and ready to do this, but I also want to be realistic about my own bandwidth and my own dilution of all of the areas that I'm working in, because I'm also a singer-songwriter with this gentleman here, and so there's lots of avenues. So
yeah.
Design, illustration, animation, blah blah blah, all of it. And I'm good at all of it, thank God, and I'm make money at all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather just be drawing and painting, but I can't give up these things in order to do that because, and so I just kind of want to say that to you and get your feedback on that scenario. I know it's like if I even have an hour a week, that's something better than nothing. And consistency is something I'm really honing in on now. So I think I just want to see what your perspective is given all the sort of variables that I've just mentioned.
God, this is a great question. Amazing. First of all, congrats. These are good first world problems to be
Thanks.
having. Like lots of jobs in today's climate. You're winning. You're doing great. Yeah, I think there's a couple layers to this whole thing, right? One layer is you have to make a decision, okay, on how hard you want to work on it, and do you want to turn it into something serious? And if so, you're going to have to borrow those hours from somewhere, right? Because that's going to have to be a serious commitment on your part. What fascinates me is you have that background, with all the people at Fox, and there's probably a network there to really get this thing kickstarted. So I think that's an exciting part of it. What I would do in your shoes, I think, here's the example that I give, the perfect example, and it'll keep it in marketing, but take it out for a second. There's this like known consensus in startups out there that it's really, really hard for any business to get any one traffic channel working, right? Like, so business needs leads. If you get one channel working, you want to go all in on it, right? So if you've got Google ads working, like, don't focus on marketing on Facebook, don't focus on Twitter, just squeeze those Google ads as hard as you can, because it's really, really hard to get that going. Okay, so I said that to say, I find that to be completely true, but do you know what else I do? I realize that I do not want my marketing operation that I'm in charge of, that I'm running, being a one-legged stool, right? Because what happens if Google ads goes away, or what happens when Facebook ads go away? And so I do this 80-20 thing in my marketing, where 80% of the outbound marketing that I'm doing is focused on the one revenue channel, the one traffic source that is the most beneficial. But the other 20%, I just put a little bit of water in these other pots, right? For instance, if Instagram ads were my biggest channel, I keep putting videos up to YouTube, and I give it a little bit of love just on the margin, on the sides, right? But I do it consistently. And now I look at YouTube, and we have 2,200 subscribers, and it's driving a ton of traffic. But that took 3 years. But the important part is I got started, I got the ball rolling, and I was doing it intentionally. So I think you need to have that inner discussion and say, like, I've got to block these hours out. I'm going to have to borrow these hours from Comfortable, which is never easy to do, and be willing to commit to doing it. If you're willing to commit to doing it, then there's a path. If you're not, and if you think you're going to be wishy-washy, it's going to be hard to walk away from those paying gigs. You know, it is. You got a lot of irons in the fire.
I do, and that's been my life.
Have you sold any of this art so far?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have a show right now hanging in Pasadena here in California, and that's we're doing a launch for that pretty soon. I've been selling paintings for a number of years.
So you already got the foot in. You already got the foot in. It seems like. So if you're already doing it, you already have your art validated. I'm definitely, like I said, on the margins. Even if you feel like you can only give it X amount of hours for the next 2 or 3 years, I like slow cooking it up, right? Because at the end of the day, if you agree with like the whole rant that I went through, you need to own your own attention. You have attention. It is the currency of the land. You can do anything. Who would I want to be? If there's anyone I could be in the United States right now, it would be Kim Kardashian, because she can do whatever she wants. She can do whatever she wants. With that many Instagram and Facebook followers, if she wants to put out a movie, it will be successful. If she wants to launch another line of shoes, it will be successful. Like, attention is the currency of the land. It takes time to build that up, right? Your Facebook page, your Instagram account, your email list, you know, how often you're emailing it and everything else. So I think we would be a good fit if you're willing to commit, but you got to commit, right? You got to commit.
Yeah, I just one more quick couple of little notes. One is that I have been under the moniker of Kyle Creative for a good decade now. I'm actually trademarking that, and so everything that I'm doing, I'd like to put under that umbrella. Do you have any opinions about my not using my full name or about naming?
No, I would put the whole entire thing under that umbrella. The whole entire thing. Yeah.
Shooting for. And then the other is, I suppose, if I launch the Art Storefronts website, my curiosity is that, do you think it makes sense to have a fine art component and also the illustration component?
You bet your ass I do. Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
Absolutely. I shouldn't have swore there. This thing's on Facebook. You know, one of the best things is, like, yes, you need to be able to sell art to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, friends, right? But, you know, one of the things that I advise more than anything else is anyone that knows, likes, and trusts you are absolutely home run customers to buy art. That's always how it works. And so it's like, you've built up this entire business now of side hustle clients here, there, one-off, they're doing your illustrations. Like, you got to market your art to those folks. They will buy your art. They already know, like, and trust you. They already know, like, and trust your style, right? Like, of course they would want to pick up a piece from you. So I would just put the whole thing under one umbrella, and I would get rolling. If you feel like you need to have a page dedicated to the creative, I would probably do that too. I mean, it's more of like a portfolio than the actual site. Then if you ended up signing up, it's more like a portfolio, right? Like, if I'm building that creative business, you're talking about all your services, you're showing some of your previous work, that would probably be, you know, Kyle Creative, whatever you can get there, right? But the fine art would just go on store dot on the same domain and get marketing and get going. You know, the hardest thing, and like one of the things that we advocate more than anything else is, like, pretty damn hard to make it as an artist or photographer. So your true North Star has just got to be success, right? Success. Like, maybe your business will always be a 60, 40, 70, 30. That's all good. 70%, you're bringing in clients, you're trading dollars for hours and creativity, and then 30% is fine art sales, and you're, like, slowly inching that up. That's all good. But the bigger picture is just success, right? So you've got a brand, you've got a style. I mean, crap, I'd probably even throw the music on there too. In all honesty, you're the brand. You're the brand.
Here's a question about branding, and then I'll leave you because I know I'm taking a lot of time. But so we have a website for our band, which is called Mayuna. I have a Kyle Creative website under which all of my illustration, design, animation, writing, and then I have a third website that's Kyle Creative Art. That's just my fine art.
Yeah.
I partitioned it out that way. Would your recommendation be to bring all of that?
I would silo the first two. I mean, of course, this is just, like, you know, quick shoot from the hip. You have to look at the SEO. Do you have a bunch of links? Do you have a bunch of traffic to the other sites, or can you deprecate them? My guess is you probably don't. That's a generalization. But I would say combine the art, do store dot so you can take orders, and get marketing. That's what I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate your answers.
No, they're good questions. I love those types of questions. Okay, it's gonna go Otis, then Julia, and then I will jump into the chat too. Okay, Otis, you're up.
Hello, Patrick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Thanks. I've enjoyed your podcast, which is how I ended up here.
Very cool.
I paint large abstracts on big wooden panels.
Okay.
Been doing it mostly for fun, but would like to take it to the next step. I've sold a bunch of it. It's very difficult to ship. I
Yeah.
fit into that category that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
And, I feel like your platform would be great in helping me get there. I'm, uh, among other things, I'm wondering the whole idea of the prints.
Hmm.
I don't really know if my stuff would translate well to it or not, but is that a big part of? I mean, so if I have a painting that I sell for $700 and it costs me $300 to ship it, $1,000, that's a fairly fairly expensive art piece for an unknown guy.
Hmm.
Um, but if I can sell it for whatever it is, $200 as a printed piece, is that a big part of what you're doing? I see how that works for photographers.
Yeah. So I know where you're going, and I can answer it. And we get pigeonholed all the time, like as the company that just cares about the prints, right? Like, quite frankly, all we care about is success. Selfishly, we found out that if we create successful customers, we're going to have an extremely successful company, and so that's what we laser focus on. And so, really, what we say at the end of the day is, we want to help you double down, triple down on the revenue sources that you have working and grow them. Can prints be a great way to bolster things? Yeah, absolutely, because it gives you additional price points. It gives you something you wouldn't have to worry about shipping. You could potentially even sell prints on wood. Have you seen wood prints, by the way?
No,
You've never seen one?
I know you can print on pretty much anything. I've seen the metal.
Yeah, yeah. The wood, I have one here, so I'll grab it.
Watch out for the soccer fans.
So that's the kind of like the thickness on them. Obviously, come ready to hang. I think this is maple or something. The detail is actually pretty damn good on them. So, being that you're in wood already, like the fact that you would be able to say, like, look, if you don't want an original, you can get one printed on wood. It's not that far off, right? Like, so yeah, I think it would be a good offering. I think it would be worth testing. And what's so funny is that, like, you've heard the podcast, like, I'm beating the drum on the lives, right? And I ain't BSing either, because I'm doing it 5-6 days a week myself, because I know how effective it is. Like, all you would have to do is get some of these and just be like, what's up, guys? It's Friday. It's a long holiday weekend, and I'm contemplating taking the next step in my art business. Many of you guys have seen my originals. You bought my originals, the huge ones. They are a pain in the butt to ship. They're very expensive. You're going to need to raise your prices on them too. Not $700. Let's go up to like $5,000. I have a new offering. Wood prints. 3/4 inch maple or whatever this is. I'm not good at the description. Ready to hang. Ships to you direct and looks pretty incredible. And give it a shot. Don't know what you don't know. Go, right? But yes, if you can make money on the prints, you should be offering the prints straight up. And to be honest with you, you should be offering the prints on every single solitaire media type too. That's like one of these things that I see people making mistakes on time and time and time again. Like, don't think you're smarter than the market. Let your customers tell you, right? Like, people love metal. Some people just love it. Some people love the acrylic. Other people like the canvas. Other people like fine art papers, and you just don't know till you don't know. We have this this gal, extremely talented, okay, sold a ton, became a customer, and swore up and down, okay, that she hated metal, that metal would never sell, that she would never offer it. And after like arm twisting and everything else, I got her to say yes. The last like 9 prints she sold have all been metal. And it's like over like $2,800 in sales, and she's killing it with them now. So I'm just going like, don't overthink it. Don't think you're smarter than the market. Like, start offering these things and talking about them, So that's what I think you should do. I mean, the fact that you've already validated it to that extent and been selling for years, like, you're just going to price up the originals. The originals will go up a couple thousand per, and then have the prints to like come into the middle, and you're good to go. And look, you have every option imaginable, right? Like, you can do the drop shipping thing, which means the order comes in, you touch nothing, goes to customer automatically, all fantastic, well and good. Or ship them to you, okay, embellish them a little bit, and then get another price point, right? Like, that's an option too, and that would be kind of cool. And then you're hand signing it, and you're talking about your process there. Like, that's a really good way to go. So you can do just about anything. You just got to start testing.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Send me a link too. I'd love to see them, the wood stuff, or maybe drop a link in the chat if you like. Okay, it's gonna go Julia and then Mary Rembrandt. Julia, you're up next. Yep, gotcha.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Okay, so I've come into these non-member sessions for a while now. I know that if you remember me.
Yeah, I do. You know Jonah.
Yeah.
I told him too, by the way, and he's like, I totally remember her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's got a really, really, really cool personality, and he's really good at what he does.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's found a lot of success. And you're right, he does look like Jesus.
He does. He does.
He does.
Anyway. Yeah, did I tell you we used him in a Facebook ad? And
I saw that.
Yeah, and then somebody immediately put on there, it's the saltwater Jesus. And I went and told him, I was like, dude, he's like, it's not the first time. I was like, whoa, it's not the first time. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, God bless him. Anyways, so I've I've put a lot of thought into the advice that you've last given me, and I've looked through a lot of old artwork, and I'm prepared to take the suggestions that you've given on just going live and see who responds. Typically I don't have people respond, so I'm a little, I know we're not supposed to speak negatively, but just to bring my darkness into the light, I'm not too confident that people will respond.
Oh, see, I'm gonna have to deal with this up front. Okay. You can see. Here, I should probably let me get this because I don't want to compromise anyone.
Okay.
When I say these live art shows, I've never seen anything be more successful in the history of Art Storefronts marketing recommendations. Okay. So let me just get this queued up. You're on your phone, so I hope you're going to be able to see this. I'll zoom in on them. I want everyone to see this. Okay, I'm ready to go. Okay. Hold on. Let me get slide. This was all out of our private Facebook group in the last couple of weeks. Tuesday, I did my flash sale. I went live on Facebook, then Instagram, and finally I filmed a video for TikTok. A few hours later, I received a message on Instagram and sold the piece. I'll do it again next week. All right, zoom back down. I did a Facebook Live a couple of days ago to announce the winner of a print. And by the way, many of these are the first ones these guys have ever done. I've added a flash sale and offered a discount 40% during the presentation. I gave a link to the video in my email and ended up making a sale as a result. Hey, folks. So I'm making progress, I think. Doing 4 more lives yesterday. I did a flash of just 11 by 14, 16 by 20, sold 4, made a few bucks. This was all told yesterday. Small win. I did a Facebook Live and offered 6 prints that I had on hand from a booth I was doing before Corona. I told them to DM me if they wanted one. All sold. And I've never seen anything like this. Forgot to mention that I learned there was a bit of arm wrestling over the paintings on a Facebook Live show on Friday. So I messaged the viewer and inquired if they'd like me to paint another piece. The blue spinnaker, same size, same frame, sold. Patrick says, just ship it. I'm just sailing. So it's I've never seen anything like this. And some people are old, some people are young, some people are like me, have a face for radio. And it just works. It is the future of selling art and photography online. So you need to stop coming up with excuses and worrying about it. Don't not play the game because you're concerned about the score. Just go. Grab the no. As soon as this call is over, get the phone. Okay, you're ready to roll. Lighting looks real nice outside. Even turn it on and start talking about a piece.
Okay.
That's it, and do it as a flash sale. Say, guys, I am looking to take. First of all, happy Friday. Big holiday, end of summer. I hope you guys had a great summer. Given these dumpster fire COVID times that we're in now, I'm looking to take my art career to the next level. One of the ways that I want to do that is clear out the XX inventory that I have to get started, get my website going, sign up with Art Storefronts. These guys are awesome, and really take the next step. So I'm going to have a flash sale. For the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about these 3 pieces, the inspiration. I'm going to show them to you. You guys are on Zoom calls, okay? You need a cool new background. I need to get a business launch. Let's do this. Can we talk about this? Let's do it. And give it the shot.
Okay. I will do it.
You can do this. You can do this, Julia.
Yes, I can do this. Yeah,
Right.
I have a few pieces from a show that I did. It was pretty funny. The show is called Photos About Nothing, which symbolically I did not like the name of that, but I have photos that are framed from that, and then I also have a few photos from art school. A lot of my stuff has unfortunately been thrown away, but I do have a few not the best quality prints that I could
blowout sale. Got to move that inventory, all of it.
Okay.
I read, by the way, that Picasso, I read this yesterday. Picasso, when he died at 91, had 45,000 pieces of art. It was valued
Really?
at $250
Wow.
million, and it took his family 7 years of squabbling and fighting over it to figure out who was actually going to get what. But
Wow.
Picasso should have ran a basement sale. Could have showed him.
Yeah, you should have.
Like I could
Pretty
have showed him
amazing.
anything. Yeah, that guy was incredible. Okay, what else?
Okay. Well, I'm not. I mean, I don't. I guess I can't really hide my reality, but I'm in a bit of like a financial situation.
mhm.
I mean, I'm on work program, so I don't. Everything I do has to be approved by the government. So
Mhm.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it because a lot of people are on work
No,
program.
it's nothing to
But
be ashamed about. Do you have a Venmo account?
yes, I do.
Do you have a PayPal account?
I have Cash App. I think I have PayPal. Yeah.
Okay, so whatever. You got Venmo. Everyone's got Venmo. Hey guys, if you're interested in this piece, you can send me a DM on Instagram. You can send me a message on Messenger. I'll send you my Venmo, and you can Venmo me. The government is
Okay.
not going to find out about those Venmos.
Really?
Yeah, they're
I
not.
didn't know that.
They're not.
Okay, so I definitely feel confident about your views of the market
Mhm.
and your website layout and
Mhm.
everything, and I definitely understand your rhetoric and your terminology,
Mhm.
and I feel in my heart like this is the right thing to do. There has been a lot of fear in the past of going all in with something, but
Absolutely.
I've definitely been meditating on giving this a shot, and I think that I'm going to do it. So
It's not
after
it's
I
not an all-in decision for you though, right? Like, you're don't look at it as a savior, because I don't like that lens, and I don't want it to be the right lens. The right way to do it is keep the day job. I realize in your case you need to get another day job. I realize we're in a dumpster fire of a
Yeah.
COVID situation, not easy. And keep this as a side hustle, and grow it and grow it and grow it. An all-in decision comes when, and the only time to make the all-in decision comes when, whoa, this is producing enough to take care of me and then some. Now I'm going all in.
Yeah, and like you said, it takes time.
Takes time. Takes time.
Yeah.
Anyone that tells you
I-
that doesn't take time is absolutely lying to you. And there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there. Like it takes time. It takes time.
Okay, well, yeah, I like to do. I just have a huge passion for all types of photography. I mean, when I was
And you went to
when I
school
was-
for it. And you went to a prestigious school for it. So you're good to go. You need to stop
Yeah.
talking about the passion. Stop worrying about it. Stop stressing about it. Get the phone, press go live, and talk about those art pieces. And I want you to send me the live. And I want you to send me the live by this weekend. And the weekend is a perfect time to do it. It's a holiday weekend. There's your excuse. Guys, to celebrate the holiday weekend, to celebrate the end of summer, to get this annoying guy Patrick off my back, I have to send him this thing. I want to sell these pieces. Make me an offer. No offer refused. You can send me a DM, email me, put your phone number at the bottom, and hold a piece of paper, whatever. See how you go.
Okay.
You don't know what you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Take a positive
All
step,
right.
though, Julia. Do it. I believe in you. You're going
Okay.
to get it done.
Okay, I will do that. I don't know how to send Facebook Lives, but I'll figure it out. And
Yeah.
yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Okay.
You Google it, or we have some stuff on our site, too. Yeah, you got it. Sometimes you got it. You got to just ship it. I say just ship it all the time. And it's a lesson you learn by not shipping it so many times and failing miserably, and then shipping and seeing how well you go. Okay, Mary Rembrandt, you're up next.
Hey.
Hey,
Nice to
welcome
see
back.
you. Well, so like I had said, I'm in the works of doing a show, although I've seen shows since then where you said, don't wait for a big one.
Don't wait for a big one. Exactly right.
Yeah. So, but the one thing I do have to do is make sure I have actual pieces to show here's the size of,
Yes.
or something.
Yes.
At this point, I don't have anything.
Yes.
But since I'm here, I did have a couple of questions because since I am so new to this, this will be my first time like selling stuff. And what I decided was taking the advice from you guys
Mhm.
and the different links you send and the different videos you do. I want to keep things very, very simple
Mhm.
because I don't have a website yet and I don't
Yep.
have a thing
Yep.
one can say, I want this style of frame or whatever. So I'm just going to do prints.
Yep.
It's easy to ship. It's simple. It's straightforward. I'm a photographer.
If I was you, I would order small sizes. Okay, kind of like what I showed with the
Okay.
wood. Okay. Every media type, pick a different image for each media type, talk about them, talk about what's awesome, because no one even knows. I mean, no one knows that you can even get a thing on wood. They like kind of know. I mean, Otis painting on wood, he didn't even know, right? Like, so you get the selection of media types, which you could probably do for like $100, $110. You could get a fine art paper, you could get metal, you could get acrylic, you could get canvas, you could get wood. Then you're able to show off the 5, talk about the art, let people know you're getting your art career launched, see if they're willing to buy in, and then quote prices and go. That's it. It's that simple.
Okay, now I actually was going to do straight paper prints and just do different sizes.
Yeah, you could do that too. You could do that too. I think, you know, early on, you know, you don't know what you don't know, right? Like maybe people are going to be into paper, maybe they're going to be into metal, maybe they're going to be into acrylic. You just don't know. And if you have all of them, you can talk about them. And it's like, let's say you get on, Mary, and you've got one paper print and you took my advice, you got the other for, and I said, Mary, I like that, but I just don't like paper prints. Do you have them available in any other media? And you said, yeah, actually, I might as well just show you right now. Let me show you all of them and show you the differences. And then just check through all of them and then shut up and see what they say, right? Like that's how it goes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Another question that I have is that because I'm so new, like I would like to charge something higher than just like, you know, like a little tiny bit of something. Mostly just because I need the money, but then also
absolutely.
just you made a great point the last time I talked with you about, you know, really capitalizing on the name. I also understand that if I start, you know, way down here, then it's going to be much more difficult to build it up higher.
Yeah.
Down the road and everything. And for a print, like a small print or medium or large, you know, I have ideas in mind, but I just wanted to kind of bounce that idea.
Start with a 275% markup on what you pay for each one. Start there.
Say it again.
Start with a 275% markup on each one. Take the price that you paid for it, 275%, and then if somebody wants to negotiate down a little bit and do that. The pricing is really hard for people, especially early on. Like people are terrified to charge a lot of prices. And the most beautiful thing about art, though, is it's utterly, totally, and completely subjective, right? It's arbitrary.
Yes.
You can price it any which way you like, right? And you can start with one price that's really high one week, and then go even higher the next week, drop back down, and see where you get the feedback. And I realize that's way easier said than done, right? Way easier said than done. As well as just having the confidence period early on because you're just getting started. It's tough, but it's one of the things. It's one of the things you learn. You got to just go for it. You know, if you're taking positive steps, I guarantee you're going to get kicked in the teeth on a couple of things, or you're going to learn a lesson, and then one thing's going to come through and go, "Whoa, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was." That worked, right? And then you just go for it.
Okay.
You should definitely wear the name tag in the video too.
Oh, I just came from one of the Zoom meetings. So.
Yeah. There's a guy famously, he's in like marketing or something, but he used to always wear the "Hello, my name is," you know,
is that
sticker.
the Bill guy that he got it tattooed on
Yeah,
his
he got
chest?
it tattooed. Yeah. So he
he
literally
I was
started.
like, okay,
he started wearing it. He's like, I wore it at conferences and everyone talked to me, and I like started forming these like amazing relationships. And so then he started wearing it 24/7 in airports, everywhere he goes, all the time. "Hello, my name is," and it worked out so well. It became his thing. He got tattooed. But look, we both know who he is just based on the I tattooed this on myself guy, right?
Yeah, I thought that was hysterical. He was like, "Yeah, here's how committed I am."
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
okay.
Talk to me.
But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Give it a shot. Give it a shot, Mary.
I
do it.
am. I'm trying to think if there's any questions I have, but okay, if I do, I'll just.
You know where to find me. I'm living my life one Zoom call to the next Zoom call to the Facebook Live to the Instagram Live. Oh, Jeffrey, I see you're doing the old-fashioned hand raise. I got it. And then Dawn, I'll get you next. Okay, Jeffrey, I unmuted you. You might need to hit the mic thing in the lower left.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm have to really be careful and very slow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
And I'm really close to getting in, and I want to know that I can do the $1,000 first,
Mm-hmm.
and second part about later.
Yes. Yes, you can. I think, given that you've got the stroke, I'm assuming, does it affect your ability to use the computer as well, or just to talk?
Not really, but not really.
Yeah. The short answer is yes. Yes, you can. And, I think as long as, when you move to a new website platform, there's always a cognitive load up front as you're learning things, right? So my only concern would be if somehow that cognitive load would affect your health and your recovery at all. If your doctor says no, you're good to go. That's what I'd say.
No, that's not the reason.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is very shy and very. She's a hero in the world of being a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
A nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very suspect of me doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason, really.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to go in. So I got her to advise me to do it in first, and then the second part, do it later.
Yep. And you can do that, no problem. So yeah, no problem at all. But make sure the wife is on board, because that's one technical problem we cannot solve. I'm reminded of that constantly. I gotta make sure my wife's on board, otherwise I'm in trouble. I think I just need to continually learn that lesson for the rest of my life, now that I think about it. But yeah, solve that one first, Jeffrey.
All right, so we solved that.
Yeah.
We solved that.
Good.
Then what is the price for going further?
Yeah, so for that, you would have to request a demo, solely because I don't even know. The outreach team deals with all of that, and they could kind of explain the differences and everything else. But what I would say is that everybody in the company are good people, so they'll tell you honestly what everything is. We'll get you on board. If you have any issues or you have any problems, you have to hibernate things, or God forbid, need a refund, they would take care of it. They'd work with you, so I wouldn't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. And heal up, my friend. I think you're doing great. Okay, Don, you're back up. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. When you were talking to Mary a minute ago, you made a statement, and I didn't quite get what you said. You said just get wood, metal, etc. I didn't know what you mean by just get.
So in her case, she's a photographer, and she's just getting started, and she doesn't have any prints, and she was talking about just getting paper prints, and I'm advising her against doing that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thouut you meant we had to have that stuff physically. You don't mean that.
No, I do mean that. I 100% mean that. If I asked you, Don, I mean, look, I look at the wall behind you, and I don't think you have any problems merchandising. You have plenty of things to show off in the flash stack. But this is one of these disconnects for whatever reason in the art and the photography world. And I use the word, assume. The first three letters of assume, right? Like out of you and me. And I find, and Nick, the CEO too, like there's this line about like working in the business versus working on the business. And the concept is like when you're in the business and you're working in the business, you sort of get like these blinders on, and you occasionally need like a consultant to come in that's not stuck working in the business and not on the business. And that's like business jargon, but it's so true because we're so in this thing all the time. It's like, we're making assumptions that people have this stuff figured out, and most artists and photographers don't have this stuff figured out. And the disconnect is like, if we were selling knives, okay, Don, if you were selling knives and I was going to hire you to sell knives door to door, what would you be knocking on the door? What would you have with you? Knives. Do you know how many artists and photographers do not have prints on all of the various different media types to show off?
Wow.
Very, very few of them. Do you know how many consumers know the difference between a metal print, if one even exists, or an acrylic print, what it looks like, what the light, the fact that you can print on wood, what a gallery wrap looks like? Not that many consumers. And so not only are you attempting to sell knives without any knives, hey, Don, how you doing? I'm here to sell knives. And you're going to say, oh, Patrick, you seem like a nice guy. Can you show me the knives? No, but I'll show you a pretty picture of them. Take my word for it, right? Like that is a
Yeah.
massive disconnect, right? And you assume that would be common knowledge, but it's just not. And I realize like I'm not going to be the ASS. Like I'm going to break it down. You have to have the product. You have to be able to merchandise it. You have to be able to show it. You have to be able to educate your customer what it's going to look like. It's ready to hang on the wall. You don't even need a trip to the frame shop. It's going to come out of the box looking beautiful. Like you really have to do those things. And sadly, it's just not common knowledge that that's the case. So unclogging that drain, one clog at a time.
I still think I misunderstood something technical, and I don't think I've gotten it across. The fulfillment center that you work with, they have all the wood, metal, blah blah blah,
Yes.
don't they? I don't need to have the metal in my
No, not at all, not at all. So
That's what I thought you meant. I've got to have metal.
No, but I mean in this context of selling, and it
Okay.
applies in person or within this new world with
got it.
lives. Yeah, you have to be able to show these things off and talk about it.
Totally
And so,
got it. Love what you're saying, man. I appreciate it so much. Love it.
yeah, it's
That's
so true.
it, sir.
And you need to have an excess inventory sale. My guess is you do very well
Yeah,
with
I
that.
need to do what you said and blow this stuff out. It's been there too long.
Yeah, exactly right. And people love the deal. People love the deal. And like, Q4 is coming up. It's just a great time for all of it. Okay, thank you. Allison, you're up next. Allison, go ahead. Allison, I'm going to unmute you again. You probably need to hit the mute down low. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep, got it. Yep, gotcha.
When you talked about 275% markup, did you mean on item from 8x10 all the way up?
Yeah,
to
everything just consistent. It's a good rule of thumb, just consistent. Yeah.
Okay, and then when you going Facebook Live and you're talking about you got a flash sale going on and you're talking about you got 10 of them. Do you really have 10 of them, or do you just have one and then you're going to go print the other 9?
Oh yeah. Well, you could do them any which way you want. I usually well, let me say this, okay? And this is fundamental. A sale period, okay? Flash sale, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, holiday, two things, right? Two things. And this is important building blocks. Incentive, which is the deal, right? And that can be anything from a percentage off to buy one, get one free to free shipping, or I'll throw in something else, right? Incentive. And the second is scarcity, okay? The scarcity meaning there's a finite amount of time until it ends. Those two things combined, turns out, are very effective at getting us human beings to act, okay? So going back to your advice, in your example of flash sales, like I've got, 10, only 10 of these left, act now, or they're going to be gone, right? You could do it that way. We don't have to do it that way. Another way to do it is you turn the live broadcast on, you start talking, and you say, I'm having a flash sale. What do I mean? This piece, which I normally sell for $1,000, I'm willing to let go for $250. And the catch is it's only available from the time now until I end the broadcast. That's it. If you leave me a comment, I'll consider that a buying note. I'll consider that if you send me a message or anything else. Then spend 15, 20 minutes merchandising, talking about the piece, talking about the inspiration, what you love about this particular and then end it and see what happens, right? Like that's a way to do a flash sale. The reality is that we are in, I keep using the analogy. This is honestly how I think about this new selling live over the socials directly with video. It feels to me like an elevator on the ground floor of a skyscraper. How high that skyscraper is, we don't know, but the doors are currently closing on the first floor. That's how new it is. Why did I use that analogy? Yes, it's going up and it's only going to go up and up and up, but also no one has it all figured out. Literally no one. So you can run anything. You can try anything. The only important thing to take away is do it this weekend. Do not wait. Do it this weekend. Give it a shot. If nobody does anything, you give it a try. Do it again and again and again. And again, I love giving this advice because it's not, I'm telling you to save the environment and not drive your car and then going and getting on a private jet, okay? I'm doing these lives sometimes 2 times a day, 5 and 6 days a week, and have been for the last 3 or 4 or 5 months. I'm that serious and that passionate about it. And when I teach and when I tell you to do it today. I'm doing one today. I'll probably do one this afternoon. This is live. I might do one this weekend. It's that effective. And no one has it all figured out yet. So don't overthink it. Just go. Just go. You take Venmo, take PayPal, send me a message on Facebook, send me a DM on Instagram. You guys have my phone number, send me a text message. Off you go.
Got it. And this type of marketing is interspersed with the type of marketing that is involved in what we buy into when we are a member, correct? This is something like on.
Yeah, the easiest way to say it is this is one little piece in what is a giant puzzle, right?
Okay.
Like there's a whole bunch of other pieces, and
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you. This weekend, though, Allison, great weekend to do it. Yeah, you too, Mary. I see you smiling, but well, you have to get the prints first, but otherwise, I would say this weekend. Tom, you're up next. Tom, go ahead. I'll let you know when you get it. You probably have to unmute the mic. There, gotcha.
There it is? Okay,
Yep.
yeah, the button was covered up.
Yep.
Just a quick question that's probably in the demo. By the way, I like the way you get right to the points on stuff. You're really good at this.
Oh, thank you.
I do pastels and oil paintings. I don't do prints.
Okay.
Yet. When I looked at your site, they seem to, like resizing it, rescaling it, all those options don't exist in my business. Would it still apply to you or on your service, or how?
Well, are you selling just originals, or are you selling prints too?
Right now, I'm only selling originals.
Yeah, so that's fine. You would just have all your originals on there, and that's it.
Okay, so the size, like showing in a room, it's just whatever size it is. That's it.
Whatever size it is, that's it. Exactly right. Because it's originals only. I think if you're doing well with the originals, highly recommend you offer prints, and you don't have to offer just prints. You could do limited editions too, right?
And G Clays is something I'm looking at, which I didn't notice on your thing, but it's probably there.
Yeah.
Because it would have to be high quality prints. I've heard opposite points from it undercuts your collectors because they go, what do you mean? You can
such nonsense. God, it's such nonsense. It does not. I hate it when people say this, undercut your collectors. It's like, who is saying that? Someone is saying that does not know what they're talking about, because I see time and time again, all it does is enhance the business. And, let's say the person you're talking to is right, or let's say I'm right. You still don't know until you know. You know when you try it and someone calls you up that is a huge collector that's bought 25 pieces and says, Tom, I can't believe you're selling prints. I think it undercuts your work. I'll never buy anything again. Let me tell you what's not going to happen. That person calling you and telling you it's never going to help your work again. At the end of the day, if you own an original, of which there are now thousands of prints out there, all it does is make the original more valuable. That's it.
That's what I've
Full
always said.
stop.
Like Monet, okay, he did pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. So, yeah, God, this stuff gets me fired up sometimes. It's like, oh, who's bringing this up? But you don't know what you don't know what you don't know, right? And like, the other thing I'll say, and I'll go on a quick tangent on this, but I think it's really, really important is, Tom, your following, my following, Mary's soon-to-be huge following, okay? All of our followings are a bell curve, okay? They just are. It's the way it works. On one end of the bell curve, we have our low-income people, right? God bless them. They're never going to be able to afford to buy anything. That's the way it works. And then the curve slowly goes up on the bell part, and we have our lower, middle, upper middle class, and then it goes down to the bottom. And at the very end, we have, the very high net worth individuals, right? Now, in between is the sweet spot, right? And those are the sweet spot prices. But on one end of the bell curve, on that right end, there's still some high net worth individuals. And so when you have the ability to have limited editions and prints, it gives you a greater price point variability to capture bigger sections of the bell curve, right? Because there's going to be some people that are just never, okay, going to be able to afford that high-end piece, but they love what you do, okay? They love supporting you, and they're like, I want to buy this. And then when you don't have that price point in your case, because you're just doing, let's say you price your originals at $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is. So, having those other additional items in there just makes so much sense. And if I'm the artist, what I would do for me, I would have the price points covered. And not only would I have the price points covered, I would price something massively expensive. If I priced my originals at like $5,000 to $10,000, I'd have one in there for $55,000, because you never know that one person on this side of the bell curve that likes you, that would never buy anything like this because they're just too good for it. But over here, this shiny thing that no one else can afford that tickles their ego, what do they care if it's an extra $10,000? They don't. So you have that. Then you have your originals. Then you have limited editions, short runs, 4, 8, 16, and then you've got your prints for the cheaper people. And it's an amazing thing. And I'll show you. I learned this lesson, and it was a profound lesson, and it's not one I'm soon to forget. So we got this guy behind me. Okay, Matthew Locke, extremely talented painter, been at it for a long time, like 8 years now. Really, really good at what he does. Been marketing a long time. When I say 8 years, he's probably been painting for 15 years or 20 years, a little younger than me, and really hitting his marketing hard. And so as such, his prices have gone up. He's got celebrity collectors. He has huge shows and everything else. And he's been doing the gallery model, right? So he'll paint for a season. This was a piece from a huge show that he had, and do the whole dog and pony, right? Like huge gallery opening night, music, the drinks, the cocktails, everything, boom, 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 and then he'll go into the next. He had a bunch of excess inventory, okay, and it was basement inventory. So this one I think was 24,000 or 26,000 Canadian, but this is huge. It's like most people don't even have a wall this big. It's so big, but he sells them a lot, right? And so where I'm going with that is that's where he's got to the size of his career for the pieces he sells. It turns out COVID hit, no more galleries opening up. He got creative. He had like a basement where he lives. They have basements. I'm in California. There's no basements. Earthquake scary. He had a basement of like old stuff from like 8 or 9 years ago. And I helped him run these live art shows to sell it. He called them his basement sale. In 15 days, 2 shows, he sold $30,000 worth of work, 64 pieces of art. And I realized that it's like, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke, okay? Who was like, I don't say BS? It was not all me helping him run a live art show or the live art show. A huge part of it was like, people love this dude. They love him, but they can't afford a $22,000 piece or an $18,000 original or like a $15,000 original. But on this basement sale, he was doing like $350 on the small ones to like $500, $750 and $1,000. And there's a lot of people like, dude, I love your work. I can finally afford one. Give it to me, right? 64 pieces in 15 days. And guess what? There was no 50-50 split on that. So independent of how that all went down, it just further underscored for me how important having the price point diversity is. You're just leaving money on the table if you don't have it, right? If he had those pieces to sell all the time, he'd be doing fine. And again, the person that wants to buy this thing, they're never going to buy the cheap stuff, okay? They need the prestige. They want to spend more money. They don't even care. It's the sport, right? And it just keeps going up from there. So that's where I'd rant about all that. You got me going on a tangent there, Tom. Okay, Jim, you have another question? Go ahead, Jim.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you.
Okay, good. I want to compliment you on the whole program you have.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I know it works. I've been around marketing for 50 years, but I have a concern. And I dropped my email database completely. The computer went boop. So I'm starting all over.
How long ago did that happen?
It's been about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Do you still have the hard drive?
I've got them, but they're corrupted.
Did you send them to somebody that knows what they're doing?
Well, supposedly they did, yeah.
Was it like a local repair shop like IT? I would, if it's a big database. One of my best friends from growing up is an IT guy. Okay, he is Mr. Wizard and then some. And I've had no less than 5 or 6 hard drives crash, and I've lost. And in the worst situation out of them all, I lost like 16% of the drive. There are wizards out there that can get things back. So if you've got some valuable data on there, I recommend you try at least one other place. But that's a tangent.
Well, let's put it this way. I think it's on there.
Okay.
But at my age, starting all over is just a viewpoint's a little different than most. I've had some successful sales. I started painting about 3 years ago, and I sell originals. But I'm just wondering if, per se, that I start from scratch. What is there a way that I can accelerate that? I mean, I was selling for 50 years door to door and in the real estate business, on the phone, cold calling. So I'm not afraid to do video stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for a direction. That's all.
Do you have? Yes. A great question. I love it. I'd ask you a couple of questions. One, do you have a paper database, a non-digital database, and what size is it? Do you have?
I have no database other than the few that I have on Facebook.
Okay.
Maybe I got maybe 15 on a email.
Yeah. Here's what I would say. And not knowing your technical abilities or acumen, but being able to make an assumption based on the fact that you're an older guy. If you had legacy, do you have legacy plans to turn the business over to someone else to?
No.
No. So you're it and it's done, right?
It's it. I'm doing it because I enjoy it.
You're okay. You're doing it because you enjoy it. If you were willing to say, I'm going to be at this for the next 10 years, I think it's worth it. If you're like, I've got like a year or two left in this, and then, I'm going to want to truly retire or slow down or whatever the case may be, then you need to be honest with yourself about that. Because unfortunately, and this is like one of the saddest things, everything, like guy like you, been at it your whole life, cut your teeth, huge following, probably mastered your craft at this point in time, sold so much over the years, lost your database, and then all of a sudden they're like, you need to go on live. And sadly, no one cares about how good you are. They don't care about the fact that you mastered your craft. They don't care that you've been at it for 50 years because the internet is a great leveler. It's just attention, right? Like the best artist doesn't even make the most money. The one with the most attention makes the most money, and that's how it goes. So yeah, I think you would need to be honest with how much longer you want to give it, honestly, and like actually do the work, and get at it. I mean, if you want to be selling art for the next 10 years, I'd say yes. And you're willing to work at it, I would say yes. Are there ways that you can accelerate it? Yes, there are, in the form of paid traffic. There's some dangers in that. Trying to just go on and thinking you can put money into the slot machine, and even if you don't need the money, right? Like, let's just say this is your creative outlet and you would really enjoy it. You could spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads and probably get there, but it probably wouldn't be a true one-to-one, dollar in, dollar out type of a situation. You'd probably be losing money on each one. That would probably be the most honest way I could answer that.
Well, my comment is, for those who are on, system that you're suggesting works.
Yeah.
I did it for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I retired, and I just found this out that I liked art after my wife kind of pushed me into it. She'd been in it 25, 30 years.
Amazing.
So I'm trying to have fun and enjoy. I have to go to actuarial tables to find out how long I've got to work on it. So
yeah.
So I appreciate your honesty, and I'm following you because I keep hoping that I'll come up with some ideas that would allow me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you could have an amazing angle, right? Because you're soft spoken, you've been at it for 50 years, and if I would say anything, I would say, do you have a social profile? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have an Instagram account?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've got an Instagram, but I basically Facebook most of it.
Yeah, so perfect. I would just go live a whole bunch on Facebook and get really good at it.
That I will try.
That's what I would do, and give it a shot and just be like, I'm launching my art career. Okay. I'm just getting started. Okay. I retired. I got bored of it. I'm back. Get going and see how you do.
My concern is, am I talking to a blank wall? How do you institute the following?
You stay at it consistently over a long period of time. We all talk to a blank wall early on. That's how it goes. Now, I've seen everything imaginable, right? Like I've seen some people that are killing it on their first time, and then I see some people that it's going to take some time. And I tell everybody the same thing. Now go do 1,000 of them, because it's the future of selling art and photography online, full stop, and it's going to take some time. And, the interesting thing about it is no one has it all figured out. Then there's no shortcut to the reps and sets you need to be able to deal with all of it. What do I mean? How to hold the camera, which is your phone. Does the phone work in your house? Do you have the strong enough internet connection? What about the lighting? Is the lighting okay? What do you do when the technical difficulties happen? How do you get to a point where when the technical difficulties do happen, your heart rate doesn't even go up a beat because you've been through it all? What about speaking and understanding the transitions and everything else? Most of us have not had a career in broadcast journalism, right? So it's one of those things that you just need to learn, and you need to get some practice, and you don't have to be perfect at it, and none of the other stuff matters except you just being authentic you. So if you're willing to do a bunch of them, the first couple are completely irrelevant, whether you're talking to a blank room at all, because you're practicing, right? Practice makes perfect.
Well, I'm used to talking on a phone, but they hang up on you. You know they're not listening.
Exactly.
You just don't know anything here.
Exactly. But that might be the greatest asset you have, because you're just not going to worry about any of that, and you're just going to keep cracking at it.
Well, I enjoy cold calling, so it doesn't bother me. But I appreciate that help, and we'll continue following. Maybe I come up with some ideas.
Love it. Love it.
Okay.
Pop on anytime, Jim. Great to talk to you. Okay, I'm going to answer Holly's question. We'll make that the last one today. And then one thing I forgot to mention too is that we are having a sale right now. I think we're calling it the summer sale. Is it called the summer sale? End of summer sale? They change the sale titles on me sometimes. But it does take into account COVID. It is really inexpensive. April's put links in the chat that can help you get there. And what happens when you click on that? When somebody from our outreach team will contact you, they set up like a 5 to 10 minute exploratory call. You can get all your questions answered. And if you want to see the full demo, you can see the full demo. If you're not ready to see the full demo, you don't have to see the full demo. And our people are not going to call you every other month for the rest of your life. They're very cool that way. So if that's something you're interested in, there's links in the chat. Okay, Holly, you're up. Go ahead. And I'll let you know. You got it.
Thank you so much
Oh, no
for
worries.
all the information. I'm a brand new person to this. I just found you last week, and I'm like overwhelmed with the amount of information that you've
Yeah.
already given, and I really appreciate all of that. The question that I have is that if you start, building a website on your platform, is there a part where people can go to you and contact you for commission originals, or
Yes.
is that?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So the way that it's organized, I mean, you can obviously do it any which way you want it, right? Like, one, you can show the originals, the limited editions, the prints, and then have like a form for commissions all on the same page, all on the same product page, or you can do a commission specific page, or any combination thereof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's it. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, that was pretty simple. And are you an Aussie living in America? Kiwi? Wait, Aussie or Kiwi? I'm actually curious. You muted, so now I can't hear you. The Aussie Kiwi for me is like hard to differentiate, and I've been to Australia, so I know you're gonna have to put it in the chat because you can't figure out how to unmute.
Oh, you just unmuted me.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I'm an Aussie.
Yeah, I got it right. The hardest thing is the I know. The I know. I don't even understand how you guys do that one. Crazy. Okay, guys, thank you. I want everyone to have an incredible weekend. It's Friday, 3-day weekend, enjoyable. For those of you that can ship alive, get some validation. Oh, I didn't clean up all the chats, so let me do that. What else is in here? Thanks for these tips. Lastly, my store is on Shopify. To be honest with you, I wish I was on ASF. These guys have Starving Artist domain nailed. Thank you, Wesley. And you could switch that, obviously. I've been trading on E-Trade. I don't know what you're talking about, Charlie. Thank you. I'm retired. Have concerns building up the email database. Oh, yeah, okay. We dealt with that. I think I've got them all. I saw somebody saying something about Fazo. Yeah, if your site's on Fazo and you're coming to join us, which is not a knock on Fazo, Fazo is terrible. I mean, let's be honest. They haven't updated that thing in 25 years. So if you come over, you would just move right over, and then that's how it would go. But guys, I want to thank you. Everyone have a great weekend, and hopefully see you on an upcoming session. All right, bye.